In this video, I'll share some tips I learned and mistakes I made growing potatoes in a low-maintenance, no-till garden in a dry climate. Last year, I created this potato garden bed using the sheet mulching or no-till method. It started out as a grassy patch, so I used my chickens to kill the grass and add manure to the soil a couple months before I was ready to plant. The idea is you cut down the grass and weeds as low as you can, add your wet cardboard, which keeps the moisture in and keeps the weeds and grass from growing up, plant into that, and then cover with mulch. That all sounds great, but in my case, it didn't work. This is the harvest we got that year. With such a disappointing harvest, I decided to try something different, so I came back later that fall and added some cow manure to the bed. I let it sit over winter, and when I came back in the spring, I was shocked at how soft the soil became. The soil looked a lot better, so it just took some time for the sheet mulch to compost down and help build the soil. Here I'm using a fork to aerate the soil and loosen it up to give room for the roots to grow, but I'm not flipping it because I still want to preserve the soil structure and biology. Doing this really helped this year's harvest because the roots were actually able to go down into the soil instead of just staying on top of the hard compacted soil. It also made it a lot easier to pull up the weeds. Here I had my wife help me plant the potatoes while I made the rows. We made sure to place the potatoes with the little roots facing up. The next step was to cover the potatoes with some soil, and that went really quick because we didn't bury the potatoes deep. Lightly burying the potatoes really helped our harvest this year. Last year we didn't do this, we just placed the potato right on top of the soil around the sheet mulch cardboard, but doing it this way worked a lot better for us. I tried using this cheap irrigation hose from Temu, but I ended up not using it because it barely worked. Only the first couple feet actually got wet, and if there was the slightest kink, the water wouldn't go through. Maybe it would have worked if the hose was perfectly straight. I actually got away without watering these potatoes at all, even with super dry summers, because we added this thick layer of straw. The straw helped keep the moisture that was already in the ground from the winter from evaporating, and it also kept water in when it rained, even though we didn't have much rains in the summer. Here's what the potato bed looked like 4 months later. You can see the ground is really dry, so I could have benefited from some watering. But the whole point of this was to see how many potatoes I could grow with the least amount of work. Just the initial time to plant them and then the time to harvest them. No pulling weeds, no watering or any other work. When harvesting the potatoes, we noticed that there was a lot of small ones and a few bigger ones here and there. A lack of water was the reason for so many small potatoes, which can cause stunted growth. Next year I'll have to find an easy way to add water to this garden bed to see if that increases the potato sizes. Using straw or mulch can help the soil retain more water, but another way to do this is to add organic matter into the soil. Organic matter in the soil creates pores that hold on to water like a sponge. Soil with a high organic matter can hold up to 20 times its weight in water. You can increase organic matter in your soil by adding compost and manure, mulch, cover crops, and reduce tilling, which minimizes disturbance and helps maintain organic matter and structure. The benefits of gardening using methods like this is that it builds your soil and makes your garden better and better each year, unlike using chemical fertilizers and pesticides, which degrade your soil over time and require that you use more and more of them. We got a decent harvest this year, especially for not watering and only getting a 1/4 inch of rain over the summer. It was a big improvement over last year's harvest, and next year should be even better.